You are listening to the Novel Writing Podcast, episode 89. Grab a cup, cozy up, and let's get to writing. Today's episode is about the truth about infodumping. It's a quote-unquote golden rule of writing, or at least of your final draft, to avoid infodumping. And it's in pretty much every list of what not to do, but I think that infodumping actually gets a bad rap. Why? Because at its core, infodumping when you're writing the first draft in particular is really just part of the outlining process. We often get to the writing portion of the first draft and realize we didn't brainstorm or outline or world build enough. And so it comes out when we're writing the narrative. And since it's in the first draft or the second draft or third draft or whatever, it now bears this label of infodumping. Avoiding infodumping can be a problem if you're preventing yourself from writing because you want to figure out how to do what the experts say and weave that info into your story from the get-go. But what if you can't figure it out? Then you're stuck between wanting to write the book and wanting to do it right, aka following the rules. And ultimately, you don't write anything, or you're really dissatisfied with what you write. Now, I'm here to tell you to infodump if you need to. Get it out of your head. The first draft will never be perfect, and the art of weaving in those backstory details without infodumping them is something you learn draft to draft, not before you ever write a single word. If your choices are between agonizing over how to only show the relevant information and just getting all of the info out of your head, do the latter. Please, do the latter. My first book had about 40,000 words of infodumping in one form or another. When I wrote that book, I didn't actually know that's what I was doing. But between the first draft and the final draft, that infodumping turned into a valuable source of material from which to draw the details that I needed to just feather in. And it also became part of book 2. Hear that. I used information and actual, fully written scenes from the very first draft of book 1 in book 2. It saved me from having to write like half a chapter because I already had the source material. If you are still hesitant to infodump, just consider it part of your outlining, brainstorming, and first draft process. Like, roll all those suckers together. There's nothing wrong with doing it. The only thing wrong is when that infodump makes it into the final version. And that's what the editing process is for. That's it for today's episode. Thanks for joining me, and remember, the first draft is supposed to be garbage. Thanks for listening to the Novel Writing Podcast. If you're ready to stop struggling and start finishing your novel, check out the 60-Day Novel Writing Challenge. It's a step-by-step program designed for solo writers to complete their first draft with clarity and focus. Visit the link in the description to learn more.